Hello students. As we all know that because of the pandemic COVID-19 situation, the final examination this time are going to be of the objective type instead of the subjective one. So I have tried framing few objective type questions as an example so that you can practice more and more such kind of questions. The topic that I've tried to cover is for the rectangular waveguides. Starting with the question number 1, which is TE00 mode for a rectangular waveguide exist but defined only under special cases, does not exist, cannot be determined. The answer for this is option number C, that is TE00 mode for a rectangular waveguide does not exist. The explanation for this can be seen this way. As we have already derived the equations for transverse electric waves propagating in a rectangular waveguide, where we have understood that TEMN, where Mn stand for the modes in the broader as well as the narrower dimension of a waveguide, by putting the values for M and N both equal to 0, right, both equal to 0, it will make all the equations that we derived for transverse electric wave equal to 0. And we know that if all the equations in a transverse electric mode become 0, it will obviously mean that TE mode cannot propagate through that waveguide, which concludes that TE00 mode is not possible for the case of transverse electric waves, right? So the answer for the first question is option number C. Second question, for any mode of propagation in a rectangular waveguide, propagation occurs above the cutoff frequency, below the cutoff frequency, only at the cutoff frequency, depends on the dimension of the waveguide. The answer for this is above the cutoff frequency. How this is so? It can be seen this way. We all know the definition of cutoff frequency, which says that Fc is a frequency at which the wave propagation will cease, means above which alpha g will be 0, means attenuation will be 0, and beta g will exist, means phase shift will exist. Diagrammatically, you can try to observe this thing, that at particular Fc, right, above this Fc, propagation is going to exist, means any frequency which is above Fc will be allowed to propagate through the waveguide, and any frequency below the Fc will not be allowed to propagate through the waveguide, right? And the value for the Fc, it can be derived this way, as we know that gamma g is equal to j beta g, where beta g's expression is omega c square mu epsilon minus into the bracket this thing. Further following, we can find the value of Fc, which is V0 by 2 root of m by a whole square plus n by b whole square, right? So basically the thing is Fc, above Fc everything can be propagated, below Fc there is no wave. So the answer for question number 2 is option A. Moving on to the question number 3, which is the fringe effect can be neglected in a parallel plate waveguide because of the dielectric material used, width of the plates is greater than the distance between the plates, material of the parallel plate waveguide used, none of the mentioned. And the answer for this is B, means the fringing effect which can be neglected in a parallel plate waveguide is because of that the width of the plates is made greater than the distance between the plates. Trying to explain this thing. First of all, you should understand what is fringing effect. Fringing effect means what we want is that if we make some wave to incident on the metallic plate of a waveguide, we want that wave should propagate to the dielectric should penetrate into it and should reach the other side, and hence by TIR effect it should be able to propagate through the rectangular waveguide. But what fringing effect does? Fringing effect means that the wave, instead of penetrating through the dielectric, leaks away from the dielectric and gets lost in the environment in one form or the other form of energy. Right? So fringing effect is a one which should always be reduced. It should be avoided. Maximum of the energy should be allowed to pass through the dielectric, right? So here it is written that to decrease the fringing effect, distance between the plates is decreased so that wave could penetrate the dielectric and leave from the other side of the metallic plate instead of leaking away from the dielectrics. You can also try to observe this thing diagrammatically from the waveguide diagram that I've made. I've made one as a broad dimension, another as a narrow dimension. These are called as broad dimension and narrow dimension of a waveguide, termed as A and B. So that is why one dimension of a waveguide is always kept broad and the separation between the two broad dimensions is kept less, so that the wave should penetrate inside the waveguide and should reach onto the other side of the waveguide instead of leaking from this metallic plates setup. Right? So the option is, moving on to the question back, that the fringe effect can be neglected because the width of the plates is greater than the distance between the plates. Now question number 4. In TM mode, if the direction of wave propagation is in Z direction, then Hz is 0, Ez is 0, Ey is 0, Hy is 0. Answer is option number A. It can be understood diagrammatically from this. I've made a coordinate system over here. In this coordinate system, Z is the direction of propagation of the wave, and it is said that which of the options, Hz, Ey, Ex, which term is 0? From the definition which I have written over here, transverse magnetic. What is meant by transverse magnetic? Means magnetic component itself is transverse to the direction of propagation. Means to the direction of propagation, the magnetic component Hz will not come. It will be rather perpendicular. It will be rather perpendicular this way, perpendicular to the direction of propagation, either in Y or in X direction. Hence, Hz does not exist. It will become 0. So the answer to question number 4 is that for TM mode, Hz is 0. For the last question, for TM2 mode, if the distance between two parallel plates of a waveguide are 40 mm, then the cutoff wavelength for TM2 mode is, options are 20, 80, 40, 60 mm. The answer for this is option number C. It is straight away a formula based question, and I've solved it over here, which says the formula for cutoff wavelength, which is twice of A upon M, where A is the dimension of the waveguide. It's given in the question. A is 40 mm and mode is M equals to 2. Putting on the values, we get lambda C, that is cutoff wavelength, equal to 40 mm. Right? So the option to this question will be option number C. So this way, students, I have tried to cover some sample questions for the topic rectangular waveguides. I'll continue with the same topic in the next video also, but I will suggest you to find and try to practice these conceptual questions for your final examinations. Good luck.